Hello, everyone. We are thrilled to announce the launch of our new record label, T.H.S.A. Records.
That's right, Elaine. T.H.S.A. Records stands for The Holy Spirit Abides, and we are an independent record label focused on uplifting Christian, gospel, and inspirational music.
You know, as an independent artist ourselves, we understand the struggles that come with getting your music out there. That's why we created T.H.S.A. Records to offer artists development, music distribution, recording, production, branding, and so much more.
We are also proud to be a Black-owned and woman-owned business with a mission to empower and support independent artists.
At T.H.S.A. Records, we believe that music has the power to change lives, and we want to create a platform for artists to share their music with the world.
Whether you're a new artist looking to break into the industry or an established artist looking for a new home, we are here for you.
We are excited to announce that we already have several talented artists on our roster, and we can't wait to share their music with you.
So, if you're an independent artist looking for support and guidance in your music career, come join us at T.H.S.A. Records. Let's make some beautiful music together. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. We pray that all is well with you. Hi, Elaine. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's so good to be here. I'm so excited for tonight. I actually have two special guests that we're going to show tonight. One is just a clip of an announcement that he made, but I just really love that dude. And then the other guy is a friend of mine that I met going around the Christian contemporary music circuit and just singing on different platforms and all of those types of things. And this young man is, I love his voice. It's just so pure and clean. And he's a storyteller as far as a songwriter. And so, you know me, I'm long-winded. I like verses. I need at least two verses and a chorus and a bridge. So when I'm writing, so
Tell
I really
the story.
Yeah, I really was attracted to his music the first time I heard him because he tells stories in his songs. But you guys know, before we get started, we always have some announcements for you because we want to keep you in the loop of what's going on in our world and the world of people who are supporting us and the people that we love and that are doing stuff in the independent artist community.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to start with Davis Tent, New Jersey is coming up this Friday, our first opportunity for you to sow into Davis Tent. Because those of you who know about Davis Tent, you know, during the actual weekend, there's no soliciting of any type. We don't sell anything. We are just there to worship and praise Jesus. And so in order to make that happen so that we don't have to charge a fee and all those types of things, we do a couple events leading up to that. And this Friday at 7:30 p.m., we will be live via Facebook and YouTube, and we will be worshiping. We have worship artists, we will be interceding in prayer, and we will have Bible readers, and we're going to do a virtual worship this Friday. We do have a couple slots available. So if you are interested in being a part of that, you can go to our Davis Tent Facebook page and just click the button and sign up. Next, we have United Music and Arts Conference coming up July 14th through the 17th. Elaine, you can talk about that one.
July 14th through the 17th, 2024. The founder of the United Music and Arts Conference, Professor Craig Hayes. It's a wonderful, wonderful conference. Independent artists, choirs. He offers a wonderful platform. But not only that, not only is it just singing and fellowshipping, it's a wonderful, wonderful worship experience.
Yeah.
Along with learning, education, understanding. Sometimes we're just out there singing and we don't even know what's going on in the music industry, or we don't even know how to navigate. So this is a wonderful, wonderful conference that helps you how to navigate through the music industry and really getting back to basics and doing ministry. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Oh, she's frozen.
Love for you to come and be.
And be a part. Yes, thank you. Then we have those of you who've been listening and watching the show. Elaine and I are both international best-selling authors. We were blessed to do the book to write a chapter in the book called The Creatives Leadership. And it is actually a bunch of us creators got together and we actually wrote our story about what it's like being a creative and being a leader. Sometimes you got to hone them skills in when you're leading. You can't just do everything. Your mind is going all crazy and stuff like that. And being a creative can be tough being a
Tell
leader
it.
because God is constantly downloading things to you. And so it's like, God, when do I implement this? But we will be here with a couple of the other artists who are in the New Jersey area, Pastor Bubby Fan, Debbie Egbisi, Leslie, and my sister Yvette, myself and Elaine. We will be at the Piston Diner. It's $45 and it does include your meal. And it's Saturday, April the 13th. So if you're not busy, put it on your calendar. We expect to see you out there for a grown folks conversation where we really get into the meat of what it's like being a creative and being a leader. Then we got some new music coming out from T.H.S.A. Records. Let Me Love You, Tina Guitar XO. Tina Guitar is my guitar player. So if
Yeah.
y'all have ever seen my band, anyone who's ever seen my experience, my ministry, Tina is the one that's on the guitar when we minister. And she actually released a single, I think it was the February 9th, right in time for Valentine's Day, called Let Me Love You. So you can get that on all
Right.
digital platforms. Our very own Elaine Sanders Mayfield will be releasing You Are My Father coming up for Easter. Right before Easter, you'll be able to get that and add that to your playlist for Easter. Finally, Miss Gloria D. Brown will be releasing in Easter as also, and in time for Easter also, is she's in Hartford, Connecticut. So we're excited about what God is doing in the life of T.H.S.A. Records. So I'm going to let Elaine announce. I'll talk to you a little bit about our next announcement, which will actually be like about a 5-minute video, and then we're going to get into our guests. Are you there? You're frozen. Stop being frozen. Ah. Oh, there you go. Can you talk? Are you frozen still?
The inner.
There you go.
Yeah, the internet is really acting up, isn't it?
You're not frozen now. You can talk. I can see you moving. Every time you get ready to move, it
Internet is
does.
really acting up, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to play the video. Hopefully, we can get a better connection.
Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Hello.
I am so excited to be here with you all tonight. And I'm more excited because my brother in love, Gary Diggs, is with us again. He's been on our show. We've interviewed him a lot of time, more than once. I think once for music and once for his book. And I'm excited that he is here. But tonight we are here in a different capacity. We're here to share something else that Gary has going on that will allow you to be a part of the kingdom of God, to enhance the kingdom. And so, without further ado, I'm going to allow Elaine to give you guys some more information about why we're here with Gary today. And then Gary will expound on it even more so you know how you can become a part of what he has going on.
Excellent. I am so excited about this. This year, it's the 10th annual Call to Refresh event. And what's so special about that is that this year, Gary Diggs, I call him Elder, will be giving out 10 scholarships. And what is even more great, when I read your letter and I saw the names on the scholarships that they will be giving in honor of, I said, this is wonderful because not only does it help the student, but it also helps the person that it's named after because there is a standard and I know how you operate. So I'm going to read off these names real quick. There will be scholarships given away in the name of Jamie Williams,
Yes.
Destiny Diggs, Jack Harris, Bernae Holman,
Renee.
Bernae Holman, Grammy Award winner Cedric Thompson,
Mhm.
Carl Rogers, Brian Williams, Richard Tubbs Smith Jr., and Austin Woodland.
Yes.
What an incredible group.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing is that we are giving you the opportunity to help make these scholarships come to fruition.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
goal is $10,000. You want to
Yeah.
give 1,000, give 1,000.
Yes.
You want to give 500, give 500. You want to give 100, give 100. You want to give 20, give 20. But we want to make sure that this happens. And the deadline is Friday, March 22nd.
Yes.
The actual event is April 2nd, 7 p.m. at Emmanuel United Pentecostal Church, 438 Stevens Street. That's Camden, New Jersey. And I believe that's your family home church, correct?
Yes, that's where I was born and raised, on the playground.
Absolutely.
My days.
There you go. So this is incredible. But we want to get into the meat of why it's important.
Yeah. So Gary, tell us your inspiration behind even the scholarships, and you can connect it to some of the things that I already know awesome things you are doing at Called to Refresh.
Yeah, Call to Refresh. This is our 10th year. Thank you for even having me on.
Oh, absolutely.
Our 10th year, and I wanted, of course, every year you want to always add to the equation to make things greater and stronger, bigger and better, for everyone. And we do music. We also offer we offer real estate. We offer health and life insurance and health and wellness. And we offer so many components into what we're doing other than just how to play the next song or what's the latest keyboard. But this year, it was pressed upon me to add education to it. And we want to bless 10 persons that are in school, that are, furthering their education. And I thought, what better person to honor than these guys that have been riding with me from day one? So we're excited about it. Yes, the goal is $10,000. And I always say, get in where you fit in. That is a big number, but then it's not a big number when we come together.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
It's not a percentage is going to scholarships and something goes somewhere else. I don't play those games and tricks. It is all 100% going towards helping these kids. And here's the thing about this. It's not just for the student that is just an A-B student. That is not the curriculum this year. That is not criteria. We're just trying to get in to help 10 needy children that we feel like it will bless. When my daughter was in college, I remember many times with some of her classmates just didn't have money for food.
Yeah.
You just never know what the case is. So you say, hey, well, that guy's a D student or a C student and they're not applying themselves. Well, maybe it's because they're hungry.
Could be.
For the most part, it is a night to refresh, to be cleansed, to be rejuvenated. So when you leave up out of there,
right,
you're stronger, wiser, and better than you've been. It's just an atmosphere. And then after it's over, because we go hang out, have a great dinner, grow.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
at the end of the day, it's all about Jesus and meeting.
That's right.
Meeting the needs of his people. Because we a lot of people doing well, but I want him to say, well done.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you for listening. Please get your dollars out and donate.
Yes.
$10,000 is his goal. The ways you can donate again are Cash App, $ Gary Diggs, check or money order, Post Office Box 1672, Merchantville, New Jersey 08109. And go ahead and you can also Cash App him your entrance fee, your admission fee for Call to Refresh.
Yes.
Go on and get your seat now, because I guarantee you it's going to be overflowing.
Save us a seat.
Yeah, it's going to be overflowing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I definitely have your seats already set up.
Absolutely. So thank you, Gary, again. And we'll be not only donating, but also. Well, now you guys know what we have going on, and I'm excited that Gary even asked us, Elder Gary even asked us to do that for him. Those of you who don't know, I come from a family that has a background in education. My mother and my father were both educators. I retired from Atlantic City Board of Ed, and my sister is still working in education. And so education is important. And I was one of those college students who was looking for those care packages coming in the mail every week. I went to that mailbox and somebody better send me some food or something, because I'm telling you, it's rough when you out there on your own, especially when you just starting to do that. It's really difficult. And I'm so grateful for my family, my aunts, my uncles, my church family, and godparents sending those care packages. They would always come right on time when I was away at school. And so, but without further ado, I just want to bring on our guest. You guys pray for the internet where Elaine is. She keeps going in and out, and you know how these things are with technical difficulty. And I know she's probably over there having a fit. Okay, Matt Wheeler is a disciple, husband, special needs father, and performing singing singer-songwriter who lives in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, a three-time Kindred Award-winning recording artist. Matt's latest release is titled A Hard History of Love and is inspired by a series of short stories by author Wendell Berry. When I tell you I'm excited to have a conversation with this man, I'm about to bring him on right now. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Hey, doing well. Thank you for
Good,
having me on,
good,
ladies.
good. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So it's great for you to be here. I'm excited that you said yes. I know you do a lot in the indie artists community. You're always performing. You actually just performed on the 15th of February.
Yeah, in Lancaster at Tell Us
Yeah,
360.
because I was going to use that video, but then it didn't have all the backgrounds and stuff to the song. So I said, let me
Oh,
use
sure. Yeah, it was
YouTube.
solo acoustic, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
opening for a Canadian folk band called Great Lake Swimmers, which I've become friends with and been a fan of for years. Anyway, um, but yeah. So then I'm heading up to New England, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire this weekend for a house concert on the Porchlight Network, Art and Hospitality Network, and then also a faith and arts gathering in New Hampshire called Branches Gathering. So yeah, it, God's opening lots of doors.
Yeah.
This year, it feels like the things have been ramping up a good bit. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
Y'all let us know where you're watching from. Hi, Felton. How are you? Good. Thanks for
Hey,
tuning in.
Felton.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to you mentioned house concerts. I did a house
Yeah.
concert with when we did that fundraiser for Bill Dempsey when he had that accident, and we did one up
Yeah.
in Tom's River. And I mean, they're so intimate and they're really cool. Tell us a little bit more about this. How do do you like doing them?
Yeah, most of the concerts that I've played in the last year or two, probably, but many over the years too, have been house concerts, and it's really simple. I mean, you don't, I mean, whether it doesn't have to always necessarily be in a house. Sometimes it's in a person's yard or
Yeah,
an
we were in the
unconventional
yard.
space,
We were
like
in the yard.
it could be like in a art gallery or something. And
Hmm.
I play a lot of church concerts. There's similar ways, but basically just where there's usually the way mine are structured is something like, everyone hangs out usually around food, sometimes a dessert buffet or just
Hmm.
potluck is how we put it. Like everyone brings a dessert and shares. I bring my peanut butter fudge, which is my specialty. Um,
Okay.
and
Ooh.
I play an hour of music, and I have a very interactive style with stories and songs. Like my songs are based on classic works of literature, but also I tell stories about them. It's like, especially when playing solo, I really developed a feel for, like, in the absence of a band, it's like, hey, you guys here as the audience, like you can be the band.
Yeah.
Let's all sing together. Let's all be part of this cool experience. And then usually we hang out for a while after as well. It's really simple, but it's beautiful. And basically, like, I describe it as being a bit like bread, in the sense that like there's a few simple ingredients, but it can make something delicious and nourishing when you
Yes.
put them all together in the right way. And maybe not everyone likes to make bread. Maybe they like to eat bread. So maybe it's like you attend someone else's house concert. But the nice thing too is if I'm traveling to a city I haven't been to before, or like I don't have like much by way of like people who know my music, you know, if someone gathers together a couple dozen people in a house, in their yard, what have you, and I'll bring the songs and stories, and it's dependably a wonderful time. And
Yeah.
number of house concert hosts, we tend to have like a rhythm where they might host me like once a year or something like that. So that's been nice to build up, because then like they can be recurring. And
Yeah.
I enjoy traveling, so you know it's nice to be able to like just drop in wherever and play in someone's house or church. Um, and yeah, I found that it's just a really great way of connecting.
Yeah.
Um, life on life, you know, like I even think of like the early church that was, you know, meeting in houses and
Yeah, they
things.
were meeting in houses.
You
Yep.
know, it's like you know,
Katrice, we have to do that.
I did house concerts last, well, before COVID, because COVID has, I like act like those 3 years just didn't happen. Before all of that happened,
yeah.
we were doing more of
Throw
those
them away.
around town north. We went up to Tom's River. We did a couple, and that's sort of like the setting we had for the refreshing cat. Remember, I did the cafe. I don't know if you ever do the cafe, Matt?
I haven't.
Okay, refreshing cafe before COVID. That's kind of like the setting we had, and it was always in a restaurant or something like that where there was food involved, and we always had it like it was small so that the artist could actually touch the fans. Like that's one of my things. Like I
Oh, yeah.
think that if these people are spending money and they're investing time listening to your music, like you going into a green room when you get done talking, I think that's kind of rude to me. I need
It
to
is.
know, I want you to know who I am. I want to talk to my fans and the
Mhm.
people who are really supporting me. And so that's that was the how Refreshing Cafe was actually set up. So we did that for like 7 years, almost 8 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds like what you're describing
Yeah.
is basically a listening room, and
Yep.
there's plenty
Yep.
of churches where I've played similar types of concerts, where basically like, you know, we can gather in fellowship and talk, and then the nice thing too is like maybe you all have had this too, where like people ask you to play music, or you'll be booked to play somewhere, and you're basically background music. It's like your satellite radio, except for with feelings.
Yeah.
Um, and that's just not you know, cover bands, you know, playing a bunch of Tom Petty tunes loudly, and people like that can be okay. But what I do is really interactive and usually solo acoustic. So I've played plenty of those background music gigs where, you know, like I'm doing it like a lullaby for my son, and then like a coffee grinder goes off.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, you know, and people are where there's basically settings where the expectation is that people are there to hang out and not to listen to music, like you are just part of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
That can be okay, but that's really not my thing.
Mhm.
And so yeah, when it comes to performing, that type of concert tends to be what I do. And on my website, I even have like a page on there about house concerts with some frequently asked questions that I answer. You know, people, because it's interesting how many people like attend these, and then they'll be like, wow, I can never really considered this. Like
Right.
this is so simple and good. And it's like, yeah, you know, like before recorded music, before touring bands and music venues everywhere, that's how you experience music.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were wealthy, you might hire musicians to come play at your estates. If you were not, you
Mhm.
probably were playing the fiddle or the piano or whatever you happen to have, maybe an instrument you had made on your back porch. And
Yeah.
you know, but I mean there's a lot of room for like, you know, when you bring good art, it gives an opportunity to foster community. You know, it's
Yeah.
like people get to be part of something, and especially in it's that kind of a setting where it's, you know, it's a few dozen people, a dozen people. It's like, oh, like I'm part of something really special here. So yeah,
Yeah.
and hello to everyone who's commenting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Hey,
evening. Good
Terrell.
evening, Terrell. And hi, Pat. How are you? Yeah. So do you find that doing the concerts, traveling around, that you when you're, how can I say this? When you're planning your set, it's
Mhm.
just your set. It's not like you don't try to like tweak it for where you're going or the community that you're in or whatever. It's just your music.
Well, no, I do. I mean, I think it's wise to know your audience. Like if I,
Yeah.
um, So yeah, it like if I'm playing a set that's in a church, I might play some of my most obviously faith based songs, but there are a lot of the songs that I play that I would play no matter where I'm playing them.
Yeah.
And I, for instance, I usually sign off my sets wherever I'm playing, with the song "Prayer of Saint Francis," um, which I did not write, but and I don't know if Saint Francis of Assisi actually wrote the lyrics or not, but it's a beautiful way of describing like how to relate to God, like how to understand that, and how to relate to other people, and how to understand oneself. And so like yeah, I'll like a lot of like my song "The Light and the Sea," like it's basically a psalm, but I'll play it even if I'm playing like a music festival that
Mhm.
isn't like expressly Christian.
That's great.
Um, so yeah, I mean, like I believe in being the same person wherever I am and whatever I'm doing. Hi,
I love
Rocky.
that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like I think that there's some consistency to that, but I mean, like I do lead worship music as well. So like sometimes I'll like play a house concert on a Saturday and then lead worship music at like the host's church the next day, or something
Yeah.
like that. And of course I'll be playing like specifically worship songs, sometimes some originals, but
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, like I do tailor it a little bit, and also besides like the serious songwriter stuff, the worship songs, I also do ridiculous pop song mashups. Um,
Okay.
uh,
Well,
it,
okay.
yeah, and which ones I do does depend on the audience to some extent. So, like for instance, probably my favorite one to play is one I think you all would resonate with, but like a young audience might not know these. So, younger than you all and me obviously is what I mean. But yeah, so like there's one of the pop song mashups. It's like imagine it's 1989 and two of the biggest pop stars of the day, Rick Astley and Paula Abdul, decided to start a relationship. They start going on some dates, and they eventually need to sit down and talk about commitment. And
You're
so I
freezing
mash
on
up.
me.
Oh, I'm freezing. Oh, well, I can still hear you all.
Uh-oh, I can hear
Is
you.
that me?
I don't know.
I had to move closer to my router. That's what it told me. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I think Katrice is still there though. Well, to
Yeah.
finish, the thought,
Yeah.
that mashup is
Okay.
called the mashup's called
I'm
"Never Gonna
here.
Give." Oh, hello again. Yeah, that mashup's called "Never Gonna Give You Straight Up," because it's never gonna give you up and straight up, and people can along. That's just kind of
Yeah.
fun. Um,
I've
I love
never
it.
heard of such.
I
so
love
so
it.
I
Rocky said
love
that
it.
things are looking pretty good, coming through where he's at. Yeah, and Patricia says so too. Great. So I guess we're just
Okay,
seeing all
good.
that.
Hi,
Anyway,
Rocky.
uh, yeah, Rocky O is a good friend of mine. So, and sometimes drummer in my band. So, um, yeah, and thanks for tuning in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I like to do like I might have like a song based on like a Victor Hugo novel, and also do Prayer of Saint Francis, and also have like a Vanilla Ice cover, like all just thrown in. Like you never know.
Okay.
Like so like I've got a pretty big repertoire, and like there are some songs that appear in most of my sets, like my song Indigo. I mentioned The Light and the Sea
Mhm.
is one. And what I plan to do at both of the events I mentioned for this weekend is play through my new album. um like it's basically present each of the songs. There's 5 songs, and then there's stories to go with them, and actually a piece of poetry at the end as well. So basically that album is based on some short stories by my favorite living author, a gentleman named Wendell Berry. and
Yeah.
uh and so who you mentioned when you were describing the new album. But the nice thing is, like, if people know who he is, then they can jump right in and like get immersed. But if they don't know who he is, then it's like I get to introduce them to to a friend. I mean, not that I know Wendell Berry really well, but I have written to him, and he actually wrote me back a few
Oh,
days ago.
wow.
He's still alive. He's 89 years old. And he does know that
Wow.
I have an album that was based on his work. And he said nice things about the poetry too. But
That's
anyway,
incredible.
yeah, which there's a whole other story about how I got connected writing to him in the first place, which I can get into if you want. But yeah, the point is, like I do, like it's not like if I'm playing half an hour, it's always these 5 songs or 6 songs. Like you know, like sometimes I'll actually change like in the middle of the set list. I'll reach the end of a song and be like, no, I'll do this one. No, I'm gonna do this other one over here. And
Yeah,
I could kind of have the band meeting in my head.
yeah.
And
I do that.
when you're playing solo, you can do that. With my band, my bandmates from Vintage Arts from over the years could tell you that I definitely have done that to them. Rocky's probably experienced
Yes.
that too. Where I'll be like, you know what? I think I'm going to try an acoustic version of this one song from the 80s or something. Yeah. Anyway, so it does vary a bit, but for the most part, you know, I see who I'm playing for. You know, if I'm playing for a bunch of high schoolers, I might play a different set of tunes than if it's
Yeah.
a bunch of seniors. If it's, you know, like, but the originals, like, especially, I guess that mostly like affects what I play as far as the covers too. But
Yeah.
anyway, point is, yeah, I try to take temperature of the room. Sometimes even like, you know, midway through, like if it turns out there's a bunch of kids there, I might do a song called Happy that has motions and has a repetitive chorus that kids can jump in and sing along, and the parents can, you know, act like kids as well, and it's just a ton of fun. So
Yeah.
so that's a very meandering answer to your question, but yeah.
No,
So
it's great. It's great because I do a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like I will switch up in midstream the set list in a minute.
Right. Well,
And
I
you
think
know, my husband is my drummer, so then he's looking at me like, "We did not practice this." Hi, Minister Hall, how are you? And he's looking at us like, "We did not we did not go over this in practice." Yeah.
You know, I've heard that Bruce Springsteen has done that over the years, where like, you know, he'll mention something about a song and then like he'll like count it off. And like I think it was Max Weinberg, his drummer. I heard him talking about like, and we just have to guess at which song he was going to start into.
Yeah.
But I mean, like obviously that's worked out okay for him. So I guess Katrice and I are in good company.
Yes,
we are. I did my first David's Tent with Katrice, and I'm like, okay. She's like, oh yeah, these are songs you know, you'll be fine. And then, okay, she had her template, right? Then the Holy Spirit comes in. Katrice is writing on the spot.
Oh, wow.
She's just, she's just downloading, and she's like, repeat after me. And we're like, okay. So now it's like a whole new chorus.
Yeah, just going with the spirit,
like,
improvising.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like jazz, you know, just just going where the spirit leads, where the music
was great.
takes you.
It was great.
Well, you wind up with one of a kind moments when you do stuff.
Yes, like that you can't even repeat, right, Matt? Like you can't back and get that stuff. You
never get it back.
Yep. So you got to go with it. So tell us, you are nominated for a Kindred Award this year again.
Yeah.
So, congratulations.
Thank you. I actually they're a little kind of out of the shot back there, but there are a few. The ones I won are over there. But anyway, So I got word probably same time as you all did about the nomination.
Yeah, because both of us did too. Yeah, absolutely.
And I saw that I'm nominated for the folk storytellers category.
Mm-hmm.
So and I just saw today that looks like it's gonna be throughout March that the voting is going to
voting. Yes. So listen, everybody, all the listeners on here, we're the only two you got a problem with is me and Elaine. We're in the same category. So you vote for her once and then the next day vote for me. But it doesn't matter. Right. But that's what it is. Elaine and I are in the female gospel category. Matt is in the folk storytelling category. So go and vote. Voting starts on March 1st. Of course, you guys know I'll be posting that on the T.H.S.A. Records site, Facebook page, and all of that kind of stuff. So we'll be posting it so where you can get the link. It doesn't start until March 1st, though, voting. And so we'll share that with you so you can go and vote. Vote for Matt. You're going to hear his song later, but I want to say that was the three of us. When I won the Gospel Artist of the Year, my first one in 2018, that was when I first heard you.
I think that was mutual. That might have been my first time with Tim Ewing, who runs maybe not quite single-handedly, but is definitely the force behind.
Basically,
he does a ton of the stuff. So if Tim's watching, a huge shout out.
Yes, thank you, Tim. Yes.
I remember getting was kind of a random email one year. It might have been 17 or 18. It was around that time.
Yeah.
about like hey, there's this regional Christian music awards show that we do each year, and I'd love to. You're nominated for whatever the category was called at the time. I think it might have changed names a little bit. Maybe it was just folk. But anyway, yeah, and so I mean, yeah, so yeah, there is the voting, and I'm nominated. And I'm grateful for that, and I plan to be at the show. But
Yeah, we do too.
the show is especially cool because like I mean, like I know lots of musicians around this immediate area, but I didn't know many in New Jersey, and especially Christian artists in genres that are outside of mine. Like
yeah,
there aren't too many that I had gotten to know just organically, even like through social media or anything. So like bringing everyone under one roof, and I'm meeting people like BJ Shores
yeah.
and the Itzels, and like the Neighborly and you all. Although I'm not sure, Lee, I'm not sure I've seen you there in person, but could be we hadn't connected before. Or like the Dorsets or other folks. I mean, like
Yeah,
there's lots of folks who I didn't know.
I like the Neighborlies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I recently played an event with them, and it was the
Okay.
first time we met them in person. So, but anyway, yeah, they're from this area. But yeah, like it's super cool. Like like just getting to know people who are doing like other expressions of music. We have a common bond of faith, even if we live in
Mhm.
different places. Our backgrounds are
Absolutely.
different. Our sound is different. I mean, I think that's a really beautiful picture of like. I mean, you look in Revelation, the description of the new kingdom, about how people from all tribes and tongues and languages will be
Yes.
together worshiping God, and like so it kind of feels like the Kindred Awards is like a localized New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Delaware-ish flavored miniature version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, I like that it's like a big concert. So it's not like
yeah.
it's not like you're judged or anything like that. Like when you there's no judges there, there's no reason to be nervous or whatever. You're
Oh,
already
good.
you already know if you're going to perform. He tells you that ahead of time.
Right.
You already know certain things. Like if you're presenting award, he basically writes the script for you.
Oh, he
You just
literally
you
does,
just have
actually.
to, if you can read, that's you're in, and so it's just a wonderful environment. Everybody is very supportive of each other, and like it was artists there that I didn't even know. I knew them, but I didn't know that they were like gonna be there, and so it was great to see them that I hadn't seen in a long time and stuff like that. So it's a really like a great big festival. That's how I see it, and
Yeah,
just
all
giving out
packed into
awards.
like all packed into one afternoon. But like
Yep.
I appreciate that you could have like a rap artist
Yeah.
it could do what they do, and then you might have like a gospel artist. Actually, I saw Bubby Fan was listed on one
Yeah.
of your events
Yep.
there. That's
Yep.
how I became aware of his phenomenal abilities. But
Mhm.
and
Incredible.
yeah, but then like you might have like me getting up there and playing a folky song and have everyone clap along, and then you might have like a rock act go after that.
Yep. Yep.
And like but I mean the common thread, of course, is the message.
Right.
Yeah, it's just it's cool that it's kind of like a like a regional Dove Awards or a tiny this area Grammys
Yeah.
in Christian music. That wasn't a good way of phrasing it, but you get the idea. Yeah, so I'm really appreciative, and that's of course how we connected in the first place too.
Yeah.
And I remember I've heard Katrice perform at least a couple of times over the years there. Some of those during the decades that were the pandemic.
Yeah. Right.
Like
Wow.
there were some of the, I think 2 of the years it was online.
Yeah, online. Yep. Yep.
But even then, still, like you see people there, and then you can connect them on social media. Like, I mean, well, social media is best when it's connecting like real life people in
Yeah.
in real life and actually helping make community, and not when you're just like endlessly scrolling. But that's a different subject. So, Anyway, so yeah, Kinder Awards. They've thank you. Yeah, thank you for pointing out the nominations, and congratulations on both of your nominations.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to I'm sure I have to look up the date for when the
It's June 22nd. The actual
June 22nd.
award show is. Yeah.
That's pretty close to what I was going to guess, but not exactly. So good. Yeah.
So tell us where we can get your music. We have people asking how they can purchase your CD.
Oh yeah, they're anxious. They're eager. Eager.
They're waiting outside the door around the block. So yeah, so as far as getting CDs, well, live events, of course, is one good place. But as far, probably the best place for that's my Bandcamp site, which I
Okay.
can. Um, let's see, I can just
I
send
can
that
add it
over.
if you tell
Yeah,
me what it is.
it's mattwheeler.bandcamp.com. And then I believe it's that/merch. But if you go to that page, just click on merch and you'll see it. And there's there the CDs and things, and I'm also the shipping department. So if you put in an order,
I know that's right.
I will I will be the one who takes care of that for you. Yeah, and you can check out a wide range, including just rarities and all the singles and such, and a couple of Muppet songs that I've covered, including my son's favorite.
That's cool.
I
There was
can't wait.
there's a song called I Don't Want to Live on the Moon. It's from Sesame Street that Ernie sings. You might remember it from back in the day because it originally rolled. I think the original version is from like 1979 or 80. So I grew up with it, and it's my son's favorite song. So I covered it, knowing that at least one person would really dig it, and he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Right.
I've also played it live, and that one's pretty cool because so my son has fairly profound autism. He has intellectual disabilities, but he's also the most cheerful person that I know. And he loves music, but doesn't really understand singing per se. But he likes listening to songs, and he likes the way that we do it is like I'll sing a song or like be playing the guitar or play it on whatever streaming, and I'll pause it and he'll fill in the blank for the lyrics. So with the audience, I tell them that, and I tell them when we get to this part of the book that goes with this song, Luke gets excited, points at the star on the page and goes star on Make a Wish on a Star.
Yeah.
So I have the audience do that when we get to that point. It's so it's fun. But anyway, so Bandcamp, you can find pretty much all the stuff. And of course, if you'd like, it's on various streaming services. Just look up Matt Wheeler and you'll see this face. Probably with a flat cap, but maybe just like this.
Holding a guitar. The
guitar is likely to be in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, So various streaming sites, most of them, I guess, and download sites, iTunes if you like. But yeah, Bandcamp's a good spot because then that's that goes most directly to artists, not just for me. I'm saying in general. Anyway, on Bandcamp, that's especially on Bandcamp Fridays, but anytime.
That's where I started selling my stuff, Bandcamp.
Yeah, well, especially since they have a merch store that you can put up there, and there's there are CDs. Someone was asking about those for all five of the albums when you count them. And then also there's leather bookmarks because I like to write songs based on classic works of literature, and so that there's an Narnian horse stamped onto those, and then and buttery soft T-shirts and other stuff. So people can check it out if they'd like, but also you can stream through Bandcamp. So
you can stream through Bandcamp too.
Whatever you don't feel any pressure to buy anything, but you can stream and listen and enjoy, I hope.
Yeah. So and this year you said you were telling us that you started the challenge, 12-song challenge.
Yeah.
Song. We have some artists on here, so let's talk a little bit about that. And and it's based in UK.
Yeah. So so the 12-song challenge, which if a quick Google search will turn that up pretty easily. It's through a group called Resound Worship, and they're also doing that now, I believe, technically in partnership with United Adoration, which is a Christian faith and arts organization that I'm part of. I help lead a song share for them online, which started during the pandemic. Another good thing that came from the pandemic.
Right.
There were some. So a number of friends from there have been telling me about the 12-song challenge, and I understood the basic idea, but hadn't really tried it. And I mean, as far as songwriting, I've written worship songs, but like I don't have like a full album of them or anything. It's a few here or there. And I certainly hadn't ever written like a whole out like 12 of them in a year, like one a month.
Yeah.
But that's basically how it works. Like you're the concept is simple enough. I mean, basically you just they give you a prompt. Like January, it was to write a gathering song, and they have a podcast as well. And of course, the guys who host that have wonderful British accents, and such, but which makes it that much more enjoyable. So like gathering, they give you all these different possibilities for ideas for like how you could write a
So
gathering
they
song.
give you a suggestion.
Yeah, so they give you a prompt, and that's what the song should be about. Like this month,
Okay.
actually, it's Acts songs, so like based on the book of Acts of the Apostles,
Okay.
the New Testament. And in fact, they also did a separate podcast episode where they interviewed Steve Walton, who is a biblical scholar, and he's writing a commentary about Acts. So between those, there's a wealth of ideas, and then they also, so once you have an idea of what you want to do, then so put together with that, there's something called Song Club, which is basically the platform they use. It's kind of like Slack, but it's designed for this,
Okay.
where there's like 300 or so people who are part of it this year, and they divide us into teams. So there's like 30 people on my team instead of trying to listen to 300 songs. So just this one group, and so like last evening, I finally sat down. I was a little late getting to my February song, but I finally sat down and put together some ideas, and got a like a verse and chorus of a song that I'm calling Crimson Thread, because that's factors in to the lyrics in the chorus. So I posted that, and basically like then people can comment and give constructive feedback, and it's basically it's a community that very much is into encouraging and giving constructive feedback. So like, and then they have a way you can just post a new version of the same song, and then people can comment on that. Like my January song, I definitely took a few of the suggestions and did a new version of it with those in mind. It became a better song. I actually still
Okay.
I haven't totally finished that one. I still want to add a bridge to it. But there's another songwriting community that I think will be helping me with that. So point is that it's, like what I was told about it is like community is like the community that comes from it is totally worth it. And
Yeah.
basically like each month you're just supposed to like, even if it's just like a piece of a song or like something unfinished, that's okay. The idea is basically just to help you, to help give you a like basically give you accountability, but also like to give you cause to go ahead and write. And I
Yeah.
certainly find I write best when there's a prompt, which is part of why I write.
I was going to ask you that. What inspires you?
What inspires you, right? I was
Yeah,
to write.
I mean, sometimes it is things that happen in life. Sometimes it's realizations God brings. Or I'll be like walk on a long walk outside or driving or something, and think of a melody, which that's not infrequent for me to like have that happen, then just get it down on voice memos and use it later maybe. But yeah, so like I really find that, I mean, as busy as I keep with various things, because I work full-time at a college, Lancaster Bible College,
Okay.
LBC, and then I also, I mentioned being special needs parents, my wife and I, family life here, and then of course
I was
there's
going to ask about that work-life
all
balance.
yeah, there's all the music stuff, with touring and leading worship music. I end up substituting a lot of different churches on Sundays because my family does church at a large church on Saturdays. Anyway, generally, so yeah, there's a lot of things going on. So if I'm going to take the time to sit down and write, it helps if I have something specific that's at least a general idea to write about. And that's what, so writing based on particular stories, or like my last two albums are like based on like C.S. Lewis and Tolkien and Chesterton and others, Wendell Berry. But then it's a totally different thing. But like the idea of writing with a prompt that's already there, is still there. And I find that to be really helpful, because I think in some ways limitations can be really helpful. Like if you have every choice in the world of what you might put into a song, it's like it's overwhelming, it's too much. But when it's like, when it's limited down to like, oh, the song is going to be, it needs to be on the book of Acts, it's like, okay, that narrows it down to, I know where I'm working with. Yeah, I mean, like, all these songs are going to be based on this one set of short stories. Okay, so that definitely narrows it down even more. I see the cover art for my most recent album.
It is. And I look, I'm a graphic designer by profession. Like since I retired from the Board of Ed, I've always had this business, but I do web design and graphic design, social media content. and stuff like that. And so I was like, I couldn't stop staring at your cover. So I need to know who did your cover, what was the inspiration for
What
it?
was the inspiration for that
Yes.
cover?
Oh yeah, I'd be happy to tell you about that. And then actually, you might even, if you like that one, you might also enjoy the one by the same artist. That's hey Kamani, nice to see you here.
Hey Kamani,
who I also met through Kindred Kindred Awards. So so this one, this and the cover art for my album Wonder of It All are both by my friend Ned Bustard. He if you know, there's a liturgy book called Every Moment Holy, where there's liturgies for things like, well, there's like liturgy for table blessings and things, but there's also liturgy for like beekeeping and for changing diapers. I remember there's one of them, or for a purposeful gathering, or for cleaning. There's all kinds of things, like basically because basically every moment is given to us by God.
Yeah.
So anyway, so all that said, so Ned does the illustrations for the first two, I guess really all three of the volumes of Every Moment Holy. And he's also local here to Lancaster. He runs a gallery called Square Halo Gallery.
Okay.
Where I did the album release concert for this album.
Nice.
So it's linocut art, which means that he took a block of linoleum and carved the reverse of this image, basically carved out and then inked it and then printed it.
Okay.
Now that was in black and white, and then he added the color later and added the well, I guess actually my name, that part was part of the original carving. That's why it kind of looks like it. So
and that's your initials on the teapot.
Yeah, good catch. I think you might be the first person who's actually caught that before I pointed it out to them.
Yes, I'm a graphic designer. I'm telling you, I was looking at this cover. I was into it. It's so detailed.
Well, there's a lot to see there, and the Wonder of It All one is also worth looking at after this too. But so the reason why you're looking at what you're looking at there, as far as what the picture is because the first song is based on it's inspired by a short story called The Hurt Man, kind of a Good Samaritan story. Essentially, to kind of summarize, like the story is that of this young boy named Matt Feltner. He's 5 years old. Later on, in later stories, he's an old man. He's like a grandfather, one of the rememberers of his town. But this is like early in his life. He and his mom are home. Dad's away with farm business, and a fight breaks out near their house. And this wounded man breaks out of the crowd and runs toward their house. And Matt's mom, Nancy, actually opens the door and lets the hurt man in, which is maybe not what you'd expect to happen. But then she blocks the door because there's these other men coming after him. Turns out they're his friends, but they all go inside, and basically, like Matt is struck with all of these. Well, actually, what I think I'm going to do is just read a couple paragraphs from the story,
okay,
which I do in concert sometimes with this. Okay, so here we go. This will actually set the scene as far as Twitter. Okay, so okay, here we go. So this is from the Wendell Berry short story, The Hurt Man. What he saw in her face would remain with him forever. It was pity, but it was more than that. It was a hurt love that seemed to include entirely the hurt man. It included him and disregarded everything else. It disregarded the aura of whiskey that ordinarily she would have resented. It disregarded the blood puddled on the porch floor and the trail of blood through the hall. Matt was familiar with her tenderness and had thought nothing of it, but now he recognized it in her face and in her hands as they went out to the hurt man's wounds. To him, then, it was as though she leaned in the black of her mourning over the whole hurt world itself, touching its wounds with her tenderness in her sorrow. And then one more paragraph here. Loss came into his mind then, and he knew what he was years away from telling, even from thinking, that his mother's grief was real, that her children in their graves once had been alive, that everyone lying under the grass up in the graveyard once had been alive and had walked in daylight in Port William, their town. And this was a part and belonged to the deliverance of the town's hard history of love. And there you go. That's like just a few paragraphs of this masterful 11-page short story. So what you're seeing there is, well, the hurt man, although I recognize that he could bear a passing resemblance to me. If I was going like,
cartoon to you, right?
But like, Well, I mean, it's based on we look at it in the story. The story didn't say that he had a beard. That was Ned's interpretation, but that's fine. Take it however you want. But then also, and then the way the birds are there for a couple of reasons. One, the concluding song, the last regular song that's on the album is called "The Wild Birds." I'm sorry, it's called "The Way We Are." It's one that I think you were planning a.
We're gonna, yeah, I'm gonna play in a
This
few
might be
minutes.
a good lead into it.
Yes.
But in that story, there's a character. Well, the chorus says this too, that the character named Burley Coulter says, the way we are, we're members of each other, all of us, everything, and basically goes on to say it's not who's in and who isn't, it's who knows it and who doesn't.
Yeah.
That could be about like the brotherhood of man, like just everyone being made in the image of God. It could be us as Christians. They'll know us by our love, Jesus says. It could be the people who live right next to us. It could be people that we see around us who are in need. So anyway, all that said, so it's a bit of a nod to the story of the wild birds, but it's also a bit of a nod to the baptism of Jesus. Where the Spirit of God descends,
Yes.
as a dove. So anyway, yeah. So it's a few different things going on there, and then the teapot. Ned decided to add my initials right there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
All
what's
right.
going on
So
there.
without further ado, we have 3 minutes left. I think the song is about 3 minutes, and we're gonna play the song. Then we're gonna come back, and Matt is going to give us some nuggets, and then we're gonna let him go because he actually has another gig after this. Because
He's double booked.
Yes, he is, and I love it.
Not at the same time. It's back to back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Back
back
to
to back. Mhm.
Welcome to the bright sadness, the humble madness, the sacred gladness. Welcome to the breath and silent light, the dawnward passing night, the bittersweet fight. The way we are, members of each other, all of us, everything. Together we'll see many seasons, joy in spite of reasons, a love that endures anything. Welcome to the root systems, the frail and winsome, the ancient wisdom. Welcome to the faithful and the true, the glance and rear view, the quiet rescue. The way we are, we're members of each other, all of us, everything. Together we'll see many seasons, joy in spite of reasons, a love that endures anything. Wild birds sing their song, a hint of hope in the morning. Wildflowers worry not, their maker brings joy in the morning. The way we are, members of each other, all of us, everything. Together we'll see many seasons, joy in spite of reasons, love that endures anything. The way we are, members of each other, all of us, everything. Together we'll see many seasons, joy in spite of reasons, a love that endures anything.
I love it. The
Yeah.
way we are. I love it.
Yeah, maybe it should be a gospel cover of that. I like the
Yeah.
idea.
Okay.
I mean, the ideas would totally work. I don't see why not.
I know. I like it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's
Oh, okay. The flapping at the beginning of the song was the sound of pages of a Wendell Berry book. Okay. I love
yeah.
it.
Actually, my previous album, The Wonder of It All, almost all the percussion was done on hardcover books, copies of the books that the songs were
That's
inspired by.
so
It was
cool.
it was high
That's cool.
concept for sure, but that was the Chris Wesington, the producer from Old Bear Studio. It was his idea, and it worked great. So with this album, we kind of went back to that a little bit. I brought a bunch of my Wendell Berry books, and the one evening we were like, a bunch of us were just like flapping and clapping, like doing like rubbing pages, like just doing other sounds. So a bunch of percussion in there.
That's a great idea. I love it. I absolutely see what I'm saying. Creatives are the truth. I'm telling you, it's nothing like being a creative.
Yeah.
You never
love
know
it.
what's gonna come out. You know?
That's right, Elaine. I absolutely love it. Yeah. So give our listeners some nuggets on just tell them like a little bit about what it took for you to get where you are and how you stay steady.
Yeah. Well, one thing I would say is, without going like way in depth on my musical journey, like I started late, you could say. I had a bunch of musical friends in college and sort of picked up a little bit then, but then really took off after. And so like I would say that my music career, such as it is, started in 2012, when I was 32 years old. So like it's about the time that people are like quitting their punk bands and starting families, like
Yeah.
if they haven't already. I got married and we had our son, and then I started sharing original music consistently.
Mhm.
So like if you're, you know, whatever age you are, like you're not too old to start. I mean, I know, like
Awesome.
I think it was Mary Gauthier, the singer songwriter, the folk singer songwriter, who started, like, she released her first album at like 47.
Never too
Which
late.
if I was on that track, I wouldn't have even started yet. So yeah, I mean, like, so like don't feel pressured to like just like feel like the ship hasn't sailed if you're breathing. So
Yeah.
I just started playing piano a couple years ago, and it's a whole other story how I ended up being gifted this 60s Wurlitzer behind me. And like just coming to that as a beginner in my mid 40s, it's like, this is really
Mhm.
cool. This is pretty fun. So yeah, like it's not too late to start. If you're inclined, just give it a try. And the way you get better at songwriting and playing and singing is just by doing it. Um,
Yeah.
Not just waiting until there is a time where you feel like you can take lessons. Like, just start.
Mhm.
Put one foot in front of the other. That's one thing I would say. And let's see, what keeps me steady. I mean, well, certainly, my family,
Mhm.
supporters, and most importantly, my relationship with Christ. Just
Mhm.
uh, rule of life, the habits that have developed over time, being in scripture, certainly in prayer.
Yeah.
One of the things I mentioned, the book Every Moment Holy. Before most performances, I pray. There's a liturgical prayer called a liturgy before taking the stage, which actually, if I move over, that's a print of it right there with a Ned
Oh,
Bustard.
okay.
Yeah, so it's like a page. But yeah, like before I played on the 15th, I got on stage, and before it was time for me to go on, and before the light was on me and such, you know I usually have the book or the app that has that prayer. Um, and it's really beautiful too. It's called a liturgy before taking the stage.
Mm.
Talking about how, asking God to, take this, these insufficient offerings, and like he's
Yes.
miraculously, like Jesus has done, and taking the loaves and the fishes, like nourishing
Yes.
the people, and pointing
Yes.
them, either encourage them in their walk, or if they aren't in walks, the performance will be like the breezes of a far country, coming through the window to them. I don't have the exact wording there, but yeah, but it's beautiful. So yeah, Every Moment Holy, I'd highly recommend. But yeah, just little habits like that, little bits of liturgy in life. And now I mean just like what's in that book. I mean just like the habits,
Yeah.
spiritual disciplines. Just following Christ. I mean, that sounds super simple, but it's, as far as an idea, that's not say it like is in practice super simple. Although the
Mhm.
idea of Jesus saying to the disciples, "Follow me," sounds simple enough. Like, okay, I
Mhm.
just need to follow you. But anyway, so yeah. And as far as I thought, maybe there's one other thing I was going to throw in there, and I'm not remembering now what it is. Oh, I know what it is. Um, so I would also say, like, if you're writing, if you're singing, if you're playing, or whatever kind of creative outlet you might have, don't be afraid to be niche. In other words, don't be. It's okay if your art isn't everyone's cup of tea. Like,
Right.
lean hard into what your fashions to make.
Mhm.
Um,
I
and
had to
often
learn
that's going
that.
to be like stuff that interests you. Stuff like again, literature is one of my things. Um, but basically like it's okay if it's not for everyone. Like
Yes.
just own who it is that God has made you to be. Play the cards you're dealt,
Yep.
and you'll probably find that there are people who will enjoy it.
Yes.
And it might not be like everyone. It might not be a household name, and that's okay.
Hmm.
But if there's dozens, hundreds, maybe thousands of people who dig it, um, great. But ultimately, we're making the art as unto God,
Yes.
and for anyone else who would care to listen, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, those are the nuggets I have for the moment.
And those nuggets actually fit our mission and our vision for the record label. We
Mm,
actually are not, we let people know we're not making stars. We want you to be authentically who God
Years.
created you to be in this
yeah,
creative space. And we're just here to help you perfect that so that when you put out a product, it's worth listening to. And you
yeah,
can do that, in a professional manner. So
Yes.
that's basically what we do. And I like the variety. I absolutely love, I don't want to sound like someone else. God created us uniquely and wonderfully made.
Yeah.
And
mhm,
so I believe that we all have something to offer the
Oh,
world, the kingdom of God, even the world, and which in what we live in. And when we imitate and be like someone else, we're not being true to what we're supposed to be offering.
yeah. And
yeah,
each one reach one, because something I may offer may not reach someone. Something you offer may
mhm,
reach someone. So it's to each his own.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was listening to a podcast a year or two ago that said Andrew Peterson, one of my favorite songwriters, who's also an author, was talking with, I think it was the Wade Center podcast, and they were he was talking about Tolkien's work, J.R.R. Tolkien, and he was like, yeah, but of course I can never write like Tolkien. And then the host said something like, yeah, but Tolkien never could have written like you. And I was like,
Right.
oh, yeah,
Exactly.
that's true. I
Exactly.
mean, he, Tolkien was playing the cards he was dealt and leaning into the voice that God had given him.
Yep.
And every person's voice matters. I
It
even make
does.
it a point in acceptance speeches, at least the recorded one I made for last year for the Kindred Awards, was that like that your voice matters. Every person's voice is different. Everyone is unique, and in some way uh, reflects an angle of or an aspect of God's glory and His image that other people don't.
Yeah.
All three of us, the way we're fashioned is different than anyone else, than
Yep.
any of the 8 billion other people or any others who have been around before. And that's pretty cool.
It
um
is.
and the way that we'll put together those finite number of notes is going to be different, or words or what have you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so which I think is wonderful. And God is the master creator. He's invited us to co-create with him. I think it was
Absolutely.
the words that Tolkien used, actually.
Which I
But
am so honored to be doing.
yeah,
So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your interactiveness. And thank you, Matt, for saying yes to this interview. Don't
Thank
forget
you.
to look up Gary Diggs and support his scholarship efforts because it
Yes.
is real. College is
Call to refresh.
yeah, call to refresh.
mhm.
And go get Matt's material. His
Absolutely. I can't
yeah,
wait.
Matt Wheeler, bandcamp.com, and support. You guys know what we do here, so we'll be back actually will be back next month with some awesome women, because next month is Women's History Month, and we have
Yes.
some awesome women who have been on the grind in the music industry for years, and some are new to it. But we have some that we're going to talk to, and we'll be letting you guys know about that. We'll be posting that and everything. Don't forget to vote for us. We appreciate your support. Kindred Awards starts March 1st as well. And so, yeah, thank you for tuning in. May the grace and peace of God be with you and your families till the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.